Hello and welcome to Candidate Forum 2025. My name is T. Adeyemo. I curate content for ladiescorner.ca. We're an alternative community-based website, and this past week we have been doing candidate forums just to give members of the community, aka Edmontonians, a look at the candidates for the awards. All right, you're watching on our YouTube channel at LCC Media One. We are grateful for your subscription, so you do well to like and subscribe. So this week we've gotten a lot of phone calls about people wanting to get involved in the work we do, and we've gotten emails as well. So if you'd like to buy us a coffee or a laptop, our email is misspurplemedia@gmail.com. That allows you or that brings you into our inner circle. And then we can tell you more of our plans for what we intend to do after this. The email again is misspurplemedia@gmail.com. So without much ado, we have our candidates here. I think they're all present. We're gonna we're gonna start with introductions. It's 2 minutes, and then I have some curated questions. We're gonna walk through the questions, and then if we have enough questions from public, we'll go and do that segment. If we have, and then we'll definitely do a segment where you're talking to each other, asking each other questions. We will be polite and we will be very civil. That's the nature of this business. So this is ladies' corner. I'm quite partial to the girls. So Roger will go first, and then Nikki, and then Joseph and Reed. I hope that is okay. So Roger, when you're ready, you got your 2 minutes.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, T, and to Ladies Corner for organizing this debate. I know that you guys are taking your time and volunteering to do this great work to make sure that people are engaged. So thank you so much. My name is Raja McGay, and I'm running to be your next city councilor for Ward Nakota Isga. I'm looking to make Ward Nakota Isga more affordable, safe, and well connected. A community that has housing available, neighborhoods with reliable transit, quality amenities, and community services, and where small businesses can thrive. So I grew up on Edmonton's West End and decided to stay here because of my deep love for the community and the people who make it special. Years ago, my family immigrated from the Philippines, and I'm deeply dedicated to giving back to the community that has given us so much. For years, I've brought real leadership and expertise to our city. 10 years ago, I started volunteering on the City of Edmonton Youth Council, doing mental health advocacy and engagement events, initiatives, and speaking directly to City Council. For the last 5 years, I've been working as a policy advisor and executive assistant for Ward Nakota Isga, talking with residents, community leaders, business owners, and city staff every single day about the projects that would improve daily lives, like the Valley Line West LRT and the Lewis Estates Recreation Center and Library. And I know City Hall. I know what needs to be fixed, and I know how to get the work done. Beyond that, I am a small business owner and a nonprofit co-founder. So my small business, In Her Words Bookshop, is a pop-up bookstore that amplifies women's voices. Political Divas is a peer support group for BIPOC women in politics and advocacy. And as vice chair of communications for Parity Egg, I ended up advocating for gender equity in leadership. And so I'm running to lead with compassion, integrity, and accountability to make
Oh,
sure that Nakota Isga is seen, heard, and represented. Is that time, T?
it is time, dear.
Thank
When we come back into the fold like this, it means it's time. But parody, yeah, I don't know why I didn't pick that up.
you.
Whatever happens, Roger, we got to talk. I kind of like what I'm hearing, so pleased to learn more. And thank you so much for coming, Nikki.
Thanks for hosting T and for inviting me over. My name is Nikki Gokwan, and I'm running to be your next city councilor for Ward 1 Nakota Isga. I bring over 8 years of experience in operation management, where I led award-winning teams, and more than 5 years of security consulting, helping keep Edmonton's home and businesses safe. For more than 2 decades, I've also worked as a journalist, including writing a regular political column for the Alberta Filipino Journal. Through that work, I've listened to people's concerns and made sure their voices were heard. I've also served as press secretary and in stakeholder relations and community outreach with the government of Alberta, as well as 2 terms director of the Seacord Community League, where I built strong connections and advocated for the residents. Through my career, I built partnerships, tackled tough challenges, and stood up for everyday people. Now I'm ready to bring the same dedication to serve you. And that's why my campaign is built on the principle, your voice, your city. Together, we can make Ward 1 stronger, safer, and more affordable. I'm here to listen, to serve, and to be your voice in City Council. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Nikki. That was sweet. Joseph? Sir, you need to unmute the mic, maybe.
Oh, okay. I think it's. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good evening. We in Edmonton has witnessed the increase in traffic, parking issues, loss of trees, and the character of their neighborhood as a result of uncontrolled infill projects. What about your property taxes creeping up year after year? Have you ever struggled to find a meaningful job? Not because of lack of effort, but because the system simply was not designed with you in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, fellow Edmontonians, my name is Joseph Mugodo. I'm proud to stand before you not only as a fellow Edmontonian, but as a candidate for city councillor in the great ward Nakota Isga, right here in the west end of this city we all love. First, let me express my deepest gratitude to the organizers of this event and to every one of you who have stepped forward to serve. It means the world to me. Thank you. Like many of you, I came to Edmonton from Zimbabwe over 2 decades ago, full of hope and determination. I worked hard. I took on survival jobs like so many newcomers do. And eventually, through grit and community support, I was able to build a small business, one that has grown because Edmonton believed in me. But as my business grew, I realized something powerful. With your support, I can do more than just create jobs, more than just pay taxes. I can fight for the change we all want to see. That's why I'm running for city councillor. Thank you.
Okay, that was beautiful, Joseph. Joseph brings real experience and a steady hand. Is running to fix what is broken. I picked that up on his website. Vote for Joseph.ca. Thank you, sir. Read, Mr. Clark, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. First of all, T, thank you so much for putting on this forum and all the work you've done for all the other candidates in the mayor forum. Like, it's a ton of work, and you should be totally commended on putting this all together, because I realize just how much hard work that is. So thank you for doing this and giving me a voice to speak. So and also thanks for indulging my home office and my sports memorabilia in the background. It kind of truly is who I am. So that's everything about me. Quite simply, I love this city. I love this community. I think Edmonton has so much potential, and I want to be part of taking it to the next level and making it a city of champions for everybody in this community and in this ward, Nakota Isga. I'm not just another politician. I'm a neighbor with proven results. As a former CEO of the Edmonton Stinger, of the Edmonton Sport Edmonton and the Edmonton Stingers, I've transformed teams into community powerhouses. From selling out 70% of our games, winning our league's community service award of over 1,000 volunteer hours, to relaunching a not-for-profit, making it the leading sports authority in this entire city. But here's what matters most. I grew up in Ward Nakota Isga, bought my first house there, started my family in the ward. I still coach my kids, both kids, basketball at Glenora Community League. So putting my name forward to City Council is really a personal investment in our community's future. I think I bring a fresh perspective to City Hall, what makes others, while others make promises, I deliver results. I founded the Fresh Nets Foundation, revitalizing basketball courts in our parks. And as current CEO as Sport Edmonton, I'm connecting communities, resources, and creating lasting legacies for major events. My platform focuses on what matters most, connecting the right people to solve problems, building safer communities, and smart spending with fiscal responsibility. Collaboration over conflict is key to bring stakeholders together to get things done. Ward Nakota Isga needs authentic leadership, not career politicians. I combine proven executive experience, deep community roots, and a collaborative vision. I'm ready to work for all the residents of Nakota Isga, not just have special interests involved. So really, with me, you get, real leadership, real results, and real community connections. I'm a proven leader with results. I've got deep roots in the ward, bring fresh perspective. I'm a community group builder, and I'm also going to bring fiscal responsibility with collaboration. So that's about me. I've also, I've been married 12 years. I've got 2 young boys, 7 and 10, big family guy, big in the community, and really love this city more than anything else.
All right, Reed, thank you very much for that beautiful introduction. You are committed to bring in collaborative results, and you're ready to work with everybody. And thank you so much for putting yourself forward, Reed. We look forward tonight to learning a lot more about you. So this takes us to our very next question. Why do you think you're the best person for this job? I'm going to start with Nikki. Why do you think people should vote for you, sir?
Well, half of my life, I was a journalist. I've been listening to concerns of people and writing their stories. And I have also government experience doing the same thing. So I plan to step in and play a bigger role. I've heard a lot of people talking about our current council not listening, and this is why I decided to step in.
Okay, beautiful. Roger.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question, T. So what I really want to focus on is that I bring a really unique set of having work experience, at City Hall, talking with residents every single day about the current concerns that impact them the most, the things that impact their daily lives, but also as someone who lives here in Ward Nakota Isga. My like Reed mentioned earlier, a personal stake in the future of this community. The kind of leadership that I'm looking to bring to City Council is one that's grounded in a people-centered approach. We all have ideas on paper, but I'm focused on actual outcomes. So trying to figure out how we can make safe communities, reliable transit, responsible growth, supporting small businesses. And I know what it takes to get that work done. Early engagement, that is going to be incredibly important. And I'm here to speak with all of Ward Nakota Isga, whether you can vote, whether you can't, whether you're in the suburbs or in mature neighborhoods. Each neighborhood has a different set of issues, problems that they need to tackle, and I'm ready to get that done.
Thank you very much, Roger. You leave in the word. You have a personal stake in the future of Nakota Isga. Thank you. And Nikki, what you said was, I didn't summarize that. You said people say to you, council is not listening. You're here to do one better. Thank you very much. Reed, what say you? Why are you the best person for this job? Why should we give you a vote?
Yeah, I mean, really, I want to be the voice of the community, right? I want to bring that voice to City Council. Like my whole campaign and what I'm about the Clark for Council campaign is the 3 C's, and that's about connecting, community, and commerce. So connecting is really having a voice for all constituents in every community that's in this ward. I really want to make sure their voices are listened and action is actually taken to City Council on their concerns. The community part is, we're really made up of so many great communities in this city, especially in this ward. And I want to do everything I can to make sure those communities, feel like they're being protected, feel like they're allowed to grow, feel like they're allowed to flourish. And then the commerce part is quite simply, I love Edmonton be the best place in Canada to do business. So, whether that's cutting the red tape to get actually things accomplished, to working in collaboration, I really want to see that kind of vision for it. So it's all about the 3 C's for me. So it's connected, community, and commerce.
Okay. Thank you very much. Connecting, community, and commerce.
Got
Lovely. It. All right. Don't forget it. And Joseph. Joseph? I'm sorry, you're muted. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I live in Ward Nakota Isga, so I have the experience of most of these problems which we are facing, and I have most of the solutions because I'm somebody who have been here for more than 20 years in this area. And I believe with all this experience and the solutions that we have as people who live here, I'll be the best candidate for this job. Thank you.
Okay, I hear you, sir. You've lived in Nakota Isga 20 years. Of course, you have the solutions because this is your community and you're here to bring the change we need. So we'll start from you, Joseph. When you go door knocking for 20 years, what have, well, maybe not 20 years, when you've been door knocking, what are people telling you? And I'm just curious, as have you seen a decline in the standard of living in Nakota Isga over all this time? That's half my lifetime, Joseph. Your thoughts?
Okay, so what I've seen here, the area has been growing a lot, and I've seen the changes. But the problems I see are facing, like the unexpected changes which are happening in the areas. For example, issues of infills. When I got knocking, people are complaining. Like I was talking to one lady the other day, and she was telling me she just woke up, her neighbor sold her house, and now there's an eightplex next to her, and there is not enough parking now, and the walkway is no more there. They've encroached into the walkway and no more parking. And so she was very mad and asked me, what should I do? I said, go to your counselor and talk to your counselor. So things like that, we need the people in the community to get involved.
Okay. All right, then we'll come back to the solutions of these problems. Thank you very much, Joseph. So when you go door knocking, infills is the most important thing you hear. All right. Did you want to add anything to that, Joseph? Oh, we're good. Okay, I think we're good. All right, Nikki?
No, it's all good. That's one of the major issues which I heard from the people when I was door knocking. That's one of the major issues.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you, sir. Nikki?
Yes.
When you
So,
go door knocking, you get the question? When you go door knocking, what are the major issues or what is the major issue?
well, LT, Joseph has mentioned it. There's several there's different issues from ranging from infill to infrastructure problems, right? So we'll tackle the infill. People are not happy with how the council has approached infill. There's lack of consultation and real consultation. They don't want the eightplex, and they don't believe that the sixplex is the right solution either. So this is affecting their nest egg. Most of the people in the older neighborhoods are about 65 to 85, and no disrespect to some of the people in the neighborhood that are younger, but for people that are in the age 65 to 85, how do they recover from this problem when you have a neighbor being constructed that is an eightplex without parking? They have issues with that because how about their visitors that's coming to the neighborhood to visit them? They will have no parking. And this is a big concern on the east side of this ward.
All right. Sorry, finish your sentence, Nikki.
Yes, in the east side of the ward, and the midsection and the west side of the ward has different issues as well. Particularly, Winterburn Road needs to be expanded. I know it's in the process to be expanded, but I've lived in this ward for 14 and a half years and going 15. And I've talked about this when I was with Secord Community League, that the road, Winterburn Road, needs to be expanded, and it hasn't been expanded. So now the community has expanded all the way to 231st Street. Now we have another problem on Highway 16A to turn into 231st Street. There's a long buildup, long lineup. Are we waiting for someone to get killed on that road before we do anything?
All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Read, please.
Yeah, and so we've been in every neighborhood and community in this ward door knocking at least once, and now we're going back again and been to them multiple times. And really, what it all boils down to, the main thing that I'm actually hearing from residents when we're out door knocking is if they want their voices heard at City Hall. Right now they feel City Hall has its own agenda, and they're trying to push through that agenda, and they're not actually. There's not meaningful consultation and collaboration with actually the residents of the city in every community. And that stretches, from mature neighborhoods in Crestwood and Glenora, all the way, to Seacourt, to Trumpeter, to everywhere. Really where it is, they really want to make sure their voice are heard and not just acknowledge and saying, yeah, I hear your concerns, but actually take them and try to find a compromise with the residents and say, hey, what can we do about this? We heard your feedback, and now we actually want to put this into action. That's what everything kind of boils down to, regardless of what the issue we're talking about is whether it's infill, whether it's safety or anything. It's just making their voice heard.
All right, I kind of agree with you there. I'm nodding enthusiastically. Thank you, Reed. Roger?
Yeah, so the top 3 issues that I've heard so far while door knocking has been affordability, preparing for the rapid growth that we're seeing, and value for city services. So when it comes to affordability, seniors, young families just getting into the housing market, renters are feeling the affordability crisis, and especially when it comes to things like the increase in property tax that is becoming unsustainable for people, the growth that we're seeing. So within mature neighborhoods, you're talking about infill. Within new suburbs outside the Henday, or new spots within Seacourt or Rosenthal that are being built, or suburbs are also being built denser than ever before. That is outpacing the growth and the infrastructure that we're seeing. So like Nikki also mentioned, Winterburn Road is something that I hear about constantly when we're at door knocking over in those neighborhoods. Value for city services. So making sure that they actually have reliable transit. The community of Big Lakes, they don't have dedicated bus service yet. They only have on-demand transit. Seacourt doesn't have bus service until before 8 p.m., not after. And, I think people are at a moment where they want to see solutions. They want to see people-oriented solutions.
All right, thank you. We're going to explore some of your ideas shortly, but I'd like to start with Reed on this one because Reed said people just want their voices heard. There's been no meaningful consultation. So here's my question. We're all going to have a go. My understanding is there is indeed a disconnect with City Hall. And it seems as though many Edmontonians feel increasingly disconnected. I'm reading my question now. Feel increasingly disconnected from City Hall. Reed, do you agree with that perception? And if so, what would you do differently to restore trust and responsiveness between the council and Edmontonians?
Yeah, I 100% agree that there's definitely a lack of trust between citizens and what's happening at City Hall and with City Council, and that's from what I'm hearing from people at the door. So there's a lack of trust. The consultation that's being done, and maybe there's good intent behind it, but it's definitely not getting to enough residents so they can truly understand the scope of the changes that are coming towards them. So there's definitely communication breakdown. So one of the things we have to change is how can we better engage and get everybody who's part of this community involved so they understand what's happening with the processes and how they can actually have their opinion heard, right? So I think we have to probably look at the whole kind of communication plan from the city and how we do it. And, I know there's been some surveys and maybe there's 20 or 30 people who fill them out. That can't be acceptable. We can't be making decisions for thousands of people and saying, hey, we did this consultation and we got 20 people to fill out online surveys. So this is the results and seems like you're okay to make that happen. So there's got to be a better way of getting that communication across.
Okay. I hope Raja has it because she's up next.
Thank you so much, T. Yeah, absolutely. Engaging every voice is one of my top platform pillars, and it was really integral that I included that because when I speak with residents in Ward Nakota Isga, people are working, people are busy with their every single day lives. And, it takes a lot of time to go to a council meeting in the middle of the day, and that's, not feasible for a lot of people. So how can we go into communities and do, not just town halls, but maybe more so roundtables where people actually have a chance to contribute? With the infill issue, people want to feel engaged and like they're feedback, that their concerns, that the things that they're trying to raise at city council are actually being taken into account, and that they're really able to contribute. So I think we need to start going to where the people are, in all communities, and really making sure that the presence is there, that you're accessible as a city councilor, and that you're willing to do, a couple more unique things, and just put yourself out there in terms of being a public servant.
Okay, Roger, if you do get elected, are you going to commit to doing things outside the box in communicating and closing this disconnect gap?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is being recorded, just so you know, because I'll find you if you get
yeah. Don't worry, I'll get an email from you, I'm sure.
Okay. All right. Joseph? I beg your pardon. Yeah, Joseph. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think we should use more tools to engage the people before we make some major decisions, especially to things which affect the local people, the people who live in different.
So your internet is a bit wobbly tonight.
Neighborhoods. So we should not just we should for decisions to be made, because if we don't consult them. Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, keep going. Your internet was wobbly at some point, but
okay. So I'm saying let's have more tools to be used, so that we. Hello?
I promise.
Did you hear what I said? Oh, I was.
Okay, let's give you one more chance. I don't know what's going on because I didn't mute you there. Okay, we've had wobbly internet. Just have another go, sir. So we're fair. Let's have another go.
So I said we should have more tools to use to engage the people, so that their voices are heard, especially before any major decisions are made. They should be consulted. Thank you.
All right, fair enough. More tools. Thanks for your patience there. One of the drawbacks of having a virtual forum like this is the fluctuating rhythms of internet. What can we do? It is what it is. Nikki.
Yes, definitely we need to engage people more, use the tools. I agree with Joseph that we need to use every tool in the book, and make sure that people are heard, right? The issue, I believe that I agree with Clark to say that there seems to be a communication problem. So when I say communication problem, we need to stay away from jargon so people can understand, and make sure that all the things that's being put out is something that is on layman's language, people can understand, not something that is hidden by all these jargons.
I agree with you, Nikki. Thank you for that. The jargon bothers me too because I consider myself quite literate. I went to nursery school. I started to read at 5 or 6. I don't know. But there's still time I get my council tax, my property tax bill, and I don't understand it. I just pay the bill and I'm okay, I don't get it. And I went to nursery school. We're going to start the second segment of questioning. I'm going to start with Reed is smiling. So Reed is going to go first.
Okay.
We're going to talk about property taxes. This has been the bane, I think, of this present council. And they have been a major concern for families and businesses. And you all have alluded to people saying it's going at an unsustainable level. In 2024, taxes were increased by 8.4%, and in 25, they were increased by 5.7%. Do you believe that the city of Edmonton has a spending problem or a revenue problem? And what specific steps would you take to ensure that our taxes become fair and sustainable? Can we go with Mr. Clark first, please?
Yeah, I think the bigger issue that I'm hearing at the Dorsey when we talk about property taxes is property taxes increasing, but people aren't feeling that the core services and the values they're getting from the city are keeping up to that level. And in some cases, what I'm hearing is they're actually going down. So when you think about that from a business perspective, it's hard to ask people for more money to get less value and to get less services, right? So that's kind of the main thing I'm hearing. It's not so much like, okay, we're paying so much more in property taxes. What are we getting out of it? So we have to correct that. We have to focus first, city from the financial standpoint that we're in, is actually doing what the city does best and focusing on those core services first. So once we tackle that first from a city council perspective, and we feel really comfortable, we're doing all those things at best, whether it's it's mowing the lawns, it's plowing the roads, it's garbage, it's water, it's all those kind of things that the basic things the city does. Once we get that figured out, then we can move on and figure out and do. So what is everything else that we can do for a city that can make our communities and make our lives better for all of our citizens, and how do we spend money there? But you can't spend money you don't have, right? So we have to figure that out first and get the core values and services down, and then look at the spending.
Okay, unlike all week, I've not had time for follow-up questions, but I'm feeling in my element tonight, all right? I've got a follow-up question for you, Reed.
Yeah.
So what sort of services are you going to pluck out? What services are you going to add?
Sir, what was the question?
What sort of core services? You say people are not happy with the core services. So if you become counselor of Nakota Isga, what are the core and you live in Nakota Isga, what services are not up to speed there? And what services are you just going to do away with or add? If I'm understanding what your thoughts are around this.
Yeah, in terms of the core services, like the basic things as say does. I mean, it's not acceptable that we don't have streets plowed. And when I go to some residents, be like, well, no, we've never seen a plow come down this street once at all. That's not acceptable. We have to make sure that that's done. Obviously, like garbage and potholes, and making sure that the fields and lawn and everything that the kids play on, or whatever, are actually maintained. Those are things that I want to make sure that we get down 100% first, right? So I'm not talking about cuts or anything there. I'm talking about actually doing the basic things as city.
All right, Reed. So if we get the streets plowed right and potholes and garbage problem, are you going to keep our property taxes at the same level or not?
That's a great question, and you have to be in those. I'm not part of city council. I'm not even part of that, so you have to be part of those discussions and see all that kind of information and go through everything and really kind of build the budget, on a zero-based budget, and build that up from the start. So that's the approach that I'm going to take if I get lucky enough to get on city council.
All right, then, fair enough. Thank you for taking my questions. Nikki, you have experience with provincial government. What would you do? Well, sorry, let me not change the question. Let's stay with the property taxes question. Should I read it again to you?
Sure, please.
All right. So people have been complaining that property taxes are a major concern for families and businesses. In 2024, there was an increase of 8.4%, and in 25, there was an increase of 5.7%. In your estimation, do you believe the city has a spending problem or a revenue problem? And what steps would you make? What steps would you take to make sure that property taxes are fair and sustainable?
Great question, T. As you know, we have a growing city, right? Let's start with that, and then property taxes are up because we have a lot of the non-essential, I call it, pet projects. We have to go down to what matters most first, right? Is it a need or a want right now? We need to look at those things. Is it a necessity to have these projects right now, or that can wait? This is why our taxes are really high. If we're going to be borrowing $100 million on a project and then pay interest on it, then that doesn't really make sense, because that's not a priority right now. There's other things that we should focus on. So our snow removal, our garbage, people need garbage pickup. The frequency of the garbage pickup is not enough, right? And we're picking up recycle, and that's great every week. But do we really need to pick up recycle every week? That doesn't go bad. But when you talk about garbage, people need their garbage pick up.
Okay.
right? So these are things that we need to carefully look at on what really matters most.
All right. Nikki, I hear you. As I grilled Reed, I've got to grill you too. So Reed doesn't leave the space feeling that unfair. Okay. So your question is, are you committing to increasing the frequency of the garbage pickup? Because personally, I'm dissatisfied with the service as well. Are you committing to fix that?
Great question, T. I will move to increase garbage pickup. This is a concern. It has been a concern in Ward Nakota Isga. I've heard a lot of people talking about this. A single person in the house, the pickup is not enough for a single person. How much more for a family?
All right. Can you be specific on what non-essential projects the city is spending $100 million on?
Well, $100 million on active transport. I am not against active transport, just to make it clear. What I'm looking at, T, is that, okay, we don't have the 100 million right now. Why would we spend 100 million immediately on something that we don't need immediately, right? We can phase this out, do it in phases, right? So we don't have to pay a lot of interest.
All right. Nikki, thank you. Roger.
Hi, T. So thank you for the
question. I read the question again. Are you good?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right then. So everybody has been complaining about the increase in property taxes. I think it's the bane of 2025. In 2024, property taxes were increased by 8.4%, in 25 by 5.7%. Do you believe that Edmonton has a spending problem or revenue problem? And what specific steps would you ensure to make that property taxes are fair and sustainable?
Yeah, so again, that's a really great question, because I think affordability has been the top issue that I've heard at the door so far. And along with that is property taxes. It's so making sure that it is at a sustainable rate. What we're seeing too is that people feel like they're not getting value for the services and for the property taxes that they're paying right now. There are examples of people who said that their grass isn't being maintained and that it's not being cut on city-owned property. Snow plows are not coming. And again, the everyday services that people rely on aren't there. And so people want to see value in their tax dollars. I think that's as simply as I can put it. But along with that, with the budget process going forward, there's a new thing called zero-based budgeting, where each department is going to have to start at zero and justify each cost. And so with that, what's really important is making sure that you're not just making arbitrary cuts, but you are protecting the city services that people use every single day. Because my greatest fear too is that, when you make those cuts, you are making cuts to the services that people rely on. So I think it's going to take a really pragmatic approach. People are going to have to go through the budget line by line and really look at where the value is for people and how you can shift so people get that value.
So Roger, let's say you become, of course, the best candidate will win this. You become the next councillor. How will you personally determine the services that we need to cut off?
Yeah. Well, I think when it comes to those service cuts, I think too, people need to start thinking a bit more creatively. Are there ways to empower employees to do that kind of work and do it in-house rather than doing, consulting work and getting a third party involved to do that kind of thing? So I think, if I had the pleasure to be elected, I think it's going to take a lot of engagement going forward, because everybody knows now the economic reality that the city's in. And in a time where we have asked residents to hold on during these great times of change, to hold on during an affordability crisis, the city needs to get creative now.
All right. So my second follow-up question for you, Roger, what does engagement citywide, what would that look like for you realistically?
Yeah, I mean, I really do love Ward Nakota Isga. I love the people here. And something I also want to mention is that Ward Nakota Isga has the highest percentage of Filipino people compared to all the wards in the city. And so I'm looking to engage with people who typically haven't been engaged before. I'm looking to talk to people who felt like they were previously have never been represented before. And so whether that is going to seniors residences and talking to them, going to university classes and having a chat about what people want to see the future of their city looking like, newsletters, town halls, roundtables, social media, I want to feel like people know who I am and can talk to me and make sure that I'm a presence in the community.
All right, thank you very much, Roger. What you're saying is you're committing to find those who ordinarily would not be engaged in city politics to get to hear their views on the plans you're proposing. Thank you. Joseph, did you want me to read the question again? Are you okay, sir?
Yes, I think just read the question again.
Okay, so city property taxes has been going up since 2024. This present city council increased it. It was increased by 8.4% in 24 and in 25 by 5.7%. Would you say the city has a spending problem or a revenue problem? And what are specific steps you would take to make sure property taxes are fair and sustainable?
Thank you so much for the question. I think the city has both the problems, a spending and a revenue problem. What I will ask, or what I will push for, is have the taxes, to have a freeze of tax increases in the next council in the next council. And also, I will ask for the city to diversify their sources of income, not just rushing to the tax to the residents and get these taxes increases. So I'm going to ask the city to diversify the revenue, their source of revenue. For example, tourism. We can promote our tourism here, and when we promote tourism, a lot of people are going to come here. When they come here, some will love the city and they will invest in the city, thereby broadening the base where the city can get money, just one of them. So, in my own opinion, when I move around, people are always telling me that, oh, Joseph, why is that my property tax is always going up? And I said, well, that's need to be fixed. So I'll advocate for those taxes to freeze the increase of these taxes, and we diversify the sources of income. Thank you.
All right, your follow. I've got two follow-up questions for you, Joseph. When you say we're diversifying our income, what does that
Mhm.
even mean? I hear tourism, but I need a bit more flesh on that, sir. Could you expand it for me, please?
So what I'm trying to say, instead of just the city should look for other means or sources of revenue instead of just rushing to the taxpayers. That's all what
Okay,
I'm
give
trying to
me
say. I
examples, sir.
know,
I know you're gonna
uh,
be counselor. Give me more examples. I want you to tell me what is this something you've thought of before now? What are the
yeah, for
sources?
example, let me go
Mhm.
back to the tourism part, which I said.
Okay.
Let me go back to the tourism part, which I'm trying to say. I'm saying if we can promote Edmonton as a tourist place, we are going to have more people come to Edmonton. When they come here, some of them will love the city. And when they love the city, these people, some of them will invest in the city. And when they invest in the city, we are going to have people employed. People are going to have these companies to start paying taxes and all like something like that. So I'm just saying, let's diversify the means for the services so that the city can get more revenue from different sources, not just from the taxpayers. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to do a shameless plug in here. Forgive me. You're watching the Candid Forum 2025. My name is T. Adeyemo. I create content for ladiescorner.ca. We're an alternative community based news outlet. And you're watching on our YouTube channel, LCC Media One. You do well to like and subscribe. And someone was asking me, well, actually, I got a couple of phone calls about this. So people say they want to support, they want to get involved in the voluntary work we've put in this past week. Well, our email is misspurplemedia@gmail.com. We're going to put it on our YouTube page. If you like to buy us a coffee or a laptop, or you want to buy us a StreamYard subscription, would appreciate that. It's cost us something to do this week, and I'm excessively tired, but not grumpy yet. Because Nikki has promised to take us all out for drinks, the producer and myself. Just kidding, Nikki. Just kidding, Nikki. We're gonna get Rick Clark to host us. Just again, I'm messing you guys. So at least
Nothing to it.
everybody's relaxed now. So we're going into the next segment where we take questions from members of the public. That's a nice segue. So the yeah, so my email again is misspurplemedia@gmail.com. There may be some billionaires watching right now. Who knows? And okay, so why were we look the stream? I didn't write these questions. It's members of the public. You won't like them, but this is why you're running. You won't like necessarily everything that comes to you. Who should we go with first? Nikki, have you gone first at all? I don't think so. Nikki, you're gonna go first. So let's see.
Can you
Let
open
us.
the door? Nigel said it.
Okay, is Nikki opening the floor? Yes, he is. All right, Nikki, what would be your approach to reign in city administration? This is from Greg Davis. How do we make city administration actually respond to the voices of Edmonton? What would your approach be to reign in city administration? How do we make city administration actually respond to the voices of Edmonton? That's a nice question for you, Nikki, whenever you're ready, sir.
Well, honestly, the city administration takes its instruction from the city council, the city councilor. So we need to ensure that we
Just come and see. Yeah.
yes, we impart what we've heard from
I want to
the
open that one.
constituents, right, of Nakota Isga, so that they can be heard, right, and we need to make sure that we have measurable results for this, because we just can't be talking about problems and not having end results, right? So we need to take action on it and measurable results.
Okay, actions and measurable results. All right, thank you. Let's find another question for Roger. Does the city have a property tax calculation issue, Roger?
Hi. Well, thanks so much, Greg, for the question. I think when we talk about the property tax increases that we're seeing right now, I think, again, the unsustainability of it, where people aren't seeing the value for their tax increases. And so I'm not entirely sure, calculation issues wise, if there is one, but I think like we need to really dig in and see how people's property taxes are being distributed, where those property taxes are going, and really seeing the value for them. And again, I think there are people who have seen, from year to year dramatic increases. So how are there opportunities to make sure it's more sustainable for people and making sure that they can actually weather that affordability, and making sure it's not so much of a drastic increase.
Okay. All right. That is about what we can take for that question. I got one here from Sania, and it's for Reed. I'm hearing that B candidates, that's better Edmonton candidates, want to please donors at the cost of costs to programs and services. Yeah, I don't know if this is true or not. What guarantees do we have, Reed, that you will serve your word versus donors? Get the question, sir?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, my guarantee is I'm running my campaign to serve the residents of Ward Niska. That is my sole focus. That is everything. That is everything I'm going to do. I'm not here to please any donors or supporters or anything. I'm here as somebody who's born and raised in this ward and gives back to this community to do and listen to really the residents and actually have their voices heard and bring their concerns and what they want done for it. That's entirely my motivation and exactly why I decided to run and wanted to, have the privilege of being on city council.
Okay. A follow-up question I have for you, Reed, is Better Edmonton Party. Initially, I thought was just a bunch of white boys, white men. But I'm seeing that you got Jyoti Bhuta, you got some other people that are not white and Caucasian. What is your party platform for inclusion and diversity?
Yeah, I mean, with Better Edmonton, it's really a coalition of a whole bunch of people of diverse backgrounds and even kind of thinking and where they want to go with it. And really what we've decided to do is, make that commitment to each other that we'll work together and have that theme of collaboration. So whoever gets on city council, the main theme is that we'll actually listen to each other. We'll have a commitment to, hear each other's voices and to actually bring solutions that work for everyone together. That's the main thing of what we decided to go through. So, I'm happy to say that everybody who's on there is with that same sort of mindset. So I think that's really positive about it.
Thank you. I appreciate you clearing out for me. Thank you. So we have one question here about equity, and Sania wants me to ask everybody about their stance on equity. Are you concerned about reports of rising hate or discrimination? And what are your thoughts on combating gaps that promote division in our city? Joseph has another go. So Joseph, could you please take this question?
Yeah. What I think, like in Edmonton, is a multi-city. Since this is a multi-city here in Edmonton, it's a city whereby we should promote diversity to everybody, and also we should give equal opportunities to everybody. I have seen that many people, especially minorities, they are always saying we are left behind and all this and that. But if we have more programs to promote diversity and equity, it help to solve these problems. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, the main thing is, do these programs actually work? I know the city has this anti-racism thing 4 years after I don't know. I just don't know if it was successful, if it works. What are the outcomes? What are the metrics? I've got a question here from Riley Avila, and it's for you, Nikki. We'll just do one quick round and we're done here. If I donate to your campaign, Riley says, can I feel assured that I will get guaranteed kickbacks from the city, just like your former employer? Oh my God, what is this question? Does it even make sense to you? I can't understand the measure of it.
Okay, so let me answer that. I don't know what he's talking about kickbacks. Whatever ongoing investigation is, that's ongoing investigation. What I can tell you, Riley, is that I'm here to serve Nakota Isga, and I'm not with a party. I'm running. I used to be a director of the Secord Community League, and I lived in the ward for 15 years. I love this ward, and that's why I'm running.
Okay, that's fair. I'm looking for two more questions. If I find, okay, it says Reed, this is for you. Will you release your donor list then? I don't know. Do you think this is important for your constituents that you release your donor list? Why would they think this is an important question? But David George has asked you that. Will you release your donor list then?
I mean, in my understanding, doesn't everybody have to? Doesn't everybody have to release their financial information? What do we have till September 30th or something? So I believe it's already set.
Okay, cool. All right, you heard that then, David. Everybody's got to, and Reed will be doing that himself. I don't have any more questions for Joseph and Roger, so I promise you we'll come back with two more. David P is saying, okay, now I'm not even going to ask that question. Okay, because we already asked Reed a question. We're going to move on to the next segment now. That's the end of that segment. Roger and Joseph, I owe you two questions, one question each, and I'm gonna do that before we close out tonight. So this is the segment. I kind of like this segment because you guys get to talk to each other. Don't come for Reed. I think he's on fire right now. But if you do, that's what this civic English.
All good.
All good. There you go. It's all good. So who's gonna go first? Roger, I'm gonna let you go first. You ask any of the boys a question, and then they'll answer you 1 minute, and then Nikki, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Whenever you're ready, Roger.
Okay, thank you so much, T. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who submitted those questions. And I know that, Sonia, you had a good question there about diversity, equity, inclusion, and I really appreciate you asking that question. So I will respond to you separately, if you don't mind, while I ask some questions of our fellow candidates here. My question is for Reed, actually, if you don't mind being in the hot seat again for a little bit.
Go for it.
So, Reed, the leader of the party you align with tried to put an illegal moratorium on all infill housing. So given that Ward Nakota Isga needs smart, affordable, and sustainable growth, how can residents trust your party's judgment on development?
Yeah, Raja, that's, what Tim decides to do, as I've made kind of clear in terms of the Better Edmonton side, I'm running my own campaign. I'm making my own decisions. We all have one vote on city council, whether you're a councillor or whether you're mayor. So what Tim put forward, whatever happened on that situation is really his agenda. I'm not here to talk about his about his stance and where he wanted to go with it. I'm here and I've been very clear, and my platform's clear on what I think about this ward and what we need to do in terms of about housing and affordability and everything. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that does. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Nikki.
Okay, so I would say question for Raja. Raja, you talk about affordability. If our taxes are really high, that it's really affecting affordability. So how do you plan to tackle that?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Thanks, Nikki, for asking that. Affordability is something that is impacting every single person, not just property owners, also renters as well. And even the costs of property taxes then get downloaded onto renters. So there's different things that you can try and do in terms of affordability as a city. So property taxes, the user fees that people pay when they go to the recreation center, transit, when they visit a city facility, and then also with how a city is built and doing that more efficiently. So when it comes to property taxes, I'm not going to promise a freeze on property taxes because that's unsustainable. But what I am going to promise to do is make sure that we try and find those efficient savings and make sure that we're being really practical about the solutions that we're trying to offer for people. I mean, my focus is making sure that we have people-centered solutions, that we have services that people can rely on. So, when it comes to property taxes, I don't want to see them keep going up and up and up at a sustainable rate. We're trying to find solutions here.
Thank you. Reed, who would you like to ask a question of?
You know what? I don't have any questions for the candidates here. I really respect that everyone's put their hand up forward to take on this huge job of running and trying to get elected. So I don't have any questions for them. So you can probably skip that.
All right, Reed doesn't want to play. Joseph. Joseph, would you like to ask a question? Are you going to skip?
Okay, for the question, I will skip, but I'm going to just put a comment. I need the audience out there to know that I am not representing any party. The people who will be my party, I will go and listen and take what people tell me to take to council. I'm not instead of, I know some of you guys, you have a party to report to whereby the party is going to tell you what to do. But for me, the people will be the party. I'm going to the people and I go what the people say is what I'm going to take to the council. Thank you.
All right, Joseph, we're going to start with you. This is a question you owe me. Edmonton's jobless rate. So that wraps up that segment. Thank you very much for playing nicely. Okay. It's a new segment and this should take us for another 15-20 minutes. Edmonton's jobless rate was the highest, increasing to 7.9% from 7.5% in June. It also had the fifth highest unemployment rate amongst 42 cities surveyed. Pretty much unemployment is high in Edmonton and is high amongst minority groups. My concern is this council have been they have not really recognized that it's a problem for families to put food on their tables, to pay their rent or their mortgages, their bills, utility bills, and this and that one. And people get quite comfortable because they have a job. Joseph, sir, what are you going to do about unemployment should you get the job? Is there anything you can do to make life for Edmontonians just a bit more affordable?
Sure. I have a plan, and in my plan, I'm going to promote for more businesses to come to, like I'll give incentives to businesses so that more businesses can open here in Edmonton, thereby having our youth and people who need jobs get employed. I see that Edmonton is losing companies and jobs to areas around us like Spruce Grove, just around like Red Deer and all these small cities around us. So if we give incentives to these companies, they are going to come and open their companies here or bring their business here into our city and thereby lowering unemployment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Roger, should I reread all of that, or you got a question? You got the gist of the question?
I think I'm good. I think I have the gist of the question. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, as a small business owner myself, it takes a lot to, try and run a business and get it starting from the ground up. So I think, going forward, the city needs to make sure that we're not only, supporting businesses while they're starting, but as they're growing, make sure that they have longevity so that they can grow their operations, that they can create more jobs for people. So that's, a measure that I'm looking at to address, the unemployment rate, accessibility to get to those jobs. So making sure that people have reliable transit to get to and from their jobs at work. I had a mom tell me that her son works at West Edmonton Mall. They live over in Secord, but he can't get home from work because they don't have dedicated bus service. And, I think we need to make sure that we're connecting people, whether it's at, the U of A or different educational institutes in the city. We need to make sure that young people are connected, folks who are moving to Edmonton are connected to make sure that they are able to find an employer, truly making sure that the community supports are there for people so that they don't just, survive in our communities, but thrive.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I don't know how much leeway councillors have to make sure that City Hall has a diverse set of employees, but I'm just wanting Nikki to commit right now to making sure that he employs or he works to make sure that city administration is more diverse and inclusive in the employment or recruitment practices.
Agreed. He agree. We need diversity. Definitely, qualified people with diverse background should be given a chance to serve. And yeah, that's very important, T, because Canada is a multicultural country, and everyone should be welcome here. And we thank Canada for allowing us to be here, and Alberta to be a great province, and the city of Edmonton to be, a city to live in. But we need to make sure that, we improve our business climate by incentivizing, as Joseph has mentioned. A lot of businesses have gone away from the city proper, going to Leduc because their taxes are lower, and the business tax in Edmonton is very high. That's why we're seeing a lot of businesses move out of Edmonton.
All right. Thank you very much. Reid, would you make any public commitments around diversifying staff at City Hall?
Yeah, and in terms of staff and everything, like it has to be representative of the city. So we need to make sure that we've got people from all walks of life and from all corners of the city, in city men and in staff. So that definitely has to be something that's represented. And I don't have data in front of me to tell me we're not, but that is definitely something that'll be a focus for me.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I have a question on bike lanes. This has come up pretty much over the course of this week. I'm going to start with you, Reid. What is your policy on bike lanes, and how will you deal with the issue moving forward?
Yeah, I think bike lanes are part of an overall transit and transportation strategy for this city. So it ties into roads, it ties into LRT, it ties into everything. So I think what we really need for this city is an actual plan that helps kind of move people around the city in the best way possible. And does that include bike lanes? Of course it does, right? Bike lanes can work and improvement of work, and people enjoy taking them, become a great mode of transportation. So it just has to be involved, and it has to have community consultation. I think that's the biggest thing. It goes back to my point we talked about earlier. Meaningful consultation with these communities. Where does it work? Where does it not work? What are some other recommendations that we actually get the feedback from for these things? So that ties right into bike lane, but it's a bigger picture discussion where it ties into an overall transportation strategy and how is the best way to move people around this big sprawling city that we have called City of Edmonton.
All right. Thank you very much, Reid. Roger, what is your policy on bike lanes, and how will you deal with the issue moving forward?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the question. I think, the issue of bike lanes has become really big in our city and provincially and across the country as well. But what I personally think is that bike lanes are becoming a bit of a dog whistle that distracts us from the bigger issues around transportation safety. So we all deserve to get home safely, regardless of the way we decide to move around. So, I've heard, upticks in traffic collisions recently. We need to build safer streets to mitigate the conflict between people walking and rolling and biking. And that's something that I'm really passionate about because, we do not want to see any more collisions happening. We do not want to see any more fatalities on the road. But I also get where the concern is coming from. We don't need to build bike lanes all over the city. In many locations, a shared use path is enough. I mean, improving the experience for people who are walking, rolling, biking, moms pushing a stroller, people in a wheelchair or scooter. And I think compromise is possible when it comes to this issue, but I know that's being polarized right now. So I don't want it to be an issue that divides folks. I think we need to talk about safety first and foremost.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Roger. Nikki?
Yes. So T, as I've said, bike lanes, it's a mode of transportation, but we don't need to build it now. We don't. It's not a now, right? It's important. We can slowly build it, but we don't need to borrow money to build it now, and then that we have to pay interest on that money. So that's where I'm coming from as far as bike lanes is concerned. It's an important mode of transportation.
Thank you very much, Nikki. Joseph?
Okay, thank you for the question. In terms of bike lanes, I'm somebody who has traveled a lot this world. I've been to Tokyo, and in Tokyo, their mode of transport mainly is bicycles. I've been to London. If you go to many cities in Europe, their mode of transport is bicycles. And I've been to China, and their most mode of transport, especially, is bicycles. But there's one thing there. These bicycles, they complement the trains, and they also complement the buses they have. So when we have our bike lanes here, they should complement the bus shelters we have, and also the LRTs we have here. Not just a bike lane which can be from here to the city center. No, it should complement what we already have, so that it won't become a hassle to other, or a problem to other people. But if it's just bike lanes and to cut the roads so that we will limit the roads we have to take for us to drive to different places, then it's not good. Let's use them to complement. Thank you.
Okay, so bike lanes should complement. Thank you very much. And I think that wraps up that line of question. I want to talk about affordability. Affordability now. Nakota Isga has some of Edmonton's highest concentration of older rental housing. What is your plan to support affordable housing, maintain livable conditions, and prevent displacement of low-income families? Joseph, you've been around the world. You want to start? Want to start with you, sir?
Okay, so for affordability, especially these mature neighborhoods, when we want to make them affordable, especially I've seen people saying, oh, we have to build modern cities and like we put this 8-plex, 6-plex. My answer is, if you want to do that, consult the people in the area. Do what they want. We should be there to serve the people, not there to dictate what to be done. We should be there to serve the people. Let's go to them. Let's get answers from the people in the community. Then after we get the answers from the people in the community, if they want for us to do 8-plex in their area, that's fine. If they want only 6-plex, that's fine. If they want 4-plexes, that's fine. And I was very disappointed last time when I talk to most of the people, and they tell me, oh, like we had a chance to limit from the 8-plexes to 6-plexes in the council, and people they don't vote. Some of them don't vote. Some of them vote negatively. They don't consult the people. We should consult more with the people. Thank you.
You're
T, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Cardinal Sin, unmute yourself. My understanding, Joseph, what you just said was that the people in the community will give us the answers that we need, and then we are guided by the answers of the people in the community. All right, fair enough. Good point. Nikki.
So T, affordability, right? That's very important. Now Joseph has talked about hearing the voices in the community, and the voices in the community are not heard. If you look at affordability, it has to be affordable housing, and all these being built right now, the infills are not really affordable. You say 2,700 in one unit out in Candy Cane Lane, that's not affordable, right? 1,800, that's still very, very high, T. So when we have issues right now because this infill is really driving affordability up. It's not driving it down, it's driving it up. The lot price has gone up, right? The When the lot price is more expensive than the house, then we have issues. We have affordable.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. I got you there. So affordability, 1,800 is not cheap. Infills are driving up prices. If the lot price is expensive, of course, the rental cost will go right up. Thank you very much, Roger.
Yeah, so thank you so much for the question on affordability. So when we talk about affordability in terms of housing, we're looking at, infill development, growth that's happening even out into the suburban communities, and also affordable housing, building affordable housing for folks that need it most, the ones who are hardest to house. And you're not just building housing to build it for housing's sake, you're building it to support people. And they need community supports within the housing as well. So within that affordable housing. An example I want to bring up is in North Kenora, the patio homes that are being demolished so that apartments can go up there. And, that is actually an unintended consequence when it comes to developing an area really, really fast. And now there will not be affordable housing in North Kenora. So when you take a holistic look when it comes to zoning, when it comes to land use, when it comes to housing, you need to make sure that you have a people-centered approach, and you need to make sure that growth is done responsibly, that you're doing it respectfully and thoughtfully. And again, not easing the gas when it comes to building affordable housing for people that need it. It's not just individuals, it is young families, it is newcomers. So.
All right, thank you very much, Roger, for that people-centered approach that can be done thoughtfully. Well put, beautifully. Thank you. And Reed, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for the question on affordability. I mean, we need policies to protect affordability while providing responsible growth. This means prioritizing housing supply where it's needed most and ensuring new infrastructure investments don't overburden taxpayers. Really affordable is more than cheaper housing. It's about smarter planning. It's about efficient transit. It's about sustainable community services that everyone keeps taxes low, right? So, an example, these new infill builds, they need to put the community over profits. I mean, growth is done meaningfully, not driven by companies' bottom dollars, as we're seeing some of these examples. By focusing on practical solutions, we can stabilize costs. I really believe we can create opportunities and maintain quality of life that makes Edmonton a city that we're all proud to call home. So, Edmonton's got to grow smartly. Affordable housing infrastructure go hand in hand. Encouraging responsible development reduces housing costs, and really, maybe there's strategic partnerships with the private sector that can expand housing options without overburdening the taxpayers. But affordability is more than housing. It's about quality of life, sustainable services, and community opportunity.
All right. So thank you so much. This is why I love municipal politics, because everything you guys are saying affects me. It affects everyone watching. So thank you very much, Reed. Guys, you're listening to Candidate Forum Nakota Isga. I can pronounce Nakota. I can pronounce Isga on LCC Media One. You do want to like and subscribe. This is my shameless plug-in. Yes, if you want to buy us coffee or even a laptop, misspoplemedia@gmail.com. Or to help us with some of the costs we have incurred this week whilst doing this voluntarily. Okay. I've got another question. I'm not quite sure if I should be asking this, but I kind of feel if I don't ask you guys, I'm going to be tossing and turning tonight in bed. And I'm just wondering where the line is with the work of being council people, councilwoman or councilman. And I'm wondering realistically what the city can actually do to help people put food on their table, keep their lights on. So here's my question. What can the city do anything extra to make life more affordable? And I'm not talking here in fields. I'm just talking general affordability, cost of living crisis. You all have jobs. You won't know what poverty even looks like, I think. But just try to picture people who are battling unemployment. That's 7.5% people. What can if you get the job, what realistically can you do that'll make a difference in the life of ordinary Edmontonians? I'm gonna go with Nikki.
So let's start with encouraging businesses to come to Edmonton. Let's lower down the business tax so we can get people employed. It's very important to get people employed so they can live by, and we have a transit system that the city already supports. Right now, I believe it's 375, if I'm not mistaken, to take the transit, and both LRT once it's done, and the bus that is supported by the city. So that will make life more easier for people. I know it's tough to find a job right now because businesses are moving away. So we need to again incentivize small businesses, because small businesses are the heart of the community, right? So they can employ community people.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much, Nikki. Reed, please.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of taps into my commerce pillar on the three C's, right? I mean, one of the things to your question, you're saying, what can we do from a city perspective? And I think one of the things we can do is we need policies that encourage investment, streamline approvals, and provide predictability for businesses planning long term. And I think actually the reducing red tape and having predictable approvals is key. I know Edmonton's in a unique spot. We have a lot of municipalities that are really close to us. I mean, sometimes less than a kilometer or right across the street, and businesses are going there. And a lot of what I'm hearing from business owners and people in these companies is the amount of time they're waiting on some of these approvals to get these projects done it's what's slowing them down and making them go to other kind of nearby municipalities. So I think actually doing that is something we can do at City Council, and we shouldn't be waiting a year or longer to get some of these approvals done, where in a nearby municipality that might only be a couple of weeks, right? So that's one thing that can unlock jobs and unlock investment and really kind of help everyday residents of this ward and this entire city and create more jobs. So I think that's one practical thing that we could do as City Council.
All right. Thank you very much. Joseph. Okay. You're doing a Miss T. You'll need to unmute, sir.
Okay. So what I will do is I will encourage businesses here to buy, the people here to buy local, business here to hire local, and organizations here to also give opportunities to locals first. Also, I'll ask for, like, the youth, give them more opportunities around. Let's give our local youth more opportunities so that if they get employed, most of these things like crime will go down and most of the things will go away. So I'll encourage businesses to hire local. I'll also encourage, or I'll go and advocate at maybe federal and provincial level for businesses to come and invest in our city, thereby lowering unemployment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Joseph. I appreciate your line of reasoning there. So I've noticed a couple more questions I've dropped in the stream. And before we go to questions, we need to tackle on homelessness and social support. Read, your platform is 3Cs. One of it is commerce. Commerce won't answer this question, though. One of the other Cs will. So we'll start with you. Homelessness and social support. Encampment and visible homelessness have become significant concerns in West Edmonton. What role do you think the city should play in providing safe and compassionate long-term solutions?
One of the first things that we need to kind of get across with City Council is this collaboration idea and actually working together. And I think resetting relationships, with the province of Alberta and even with the Edmonton Police Services is really key, and it can help kind of tackle this issue and this question that you're asking me right now on that. So the biggest thing that we need to do from a day one perspective is reset those relationships and work with them, because this problem is not something the city can solve on its own. We need more resources. We need more support to kind of be able to tackle this on, because it's a huge issue. It's a big thing. It's affecting everybody. It's not just the people that we see. It's their friends. It's their family, and it's just everyday citizens, involving Edmonton. So the first thing you need to do is actually reestablish those relationships and have a collaboration approach.
Okay, so when I planned this, we were going to do 90 minutes, but as you can see, we have only 10 minutes left. So I'm going to make your time just 30 seconds now because we have a lot to go. So we're going to put it 1 point, your speed will be 1.5 or 1.75, just, 30 seconds. But thank you, Dorit. That was a community-based approach you're offering. Joseph.
Okay, so for homelessness, I see we are doing something which I don't think should be correct. Like usually we take the people from the streets and we put them to jail. When they take them out, when they are out of jail, they go back into the streets. I think we should advocate, like send people professionals, like those people in the streets. Some of them have mental issues. You take them to mental health institutions. Those with financial problems, take them to low-income housing. Those with drug addiction, we take them to drug addiction centers. So that way, we remove homelessness, or we lower the rate of homelessness in our area. Instead of just taking them, the police come, take them into the jails. Then from the jails, they're going back to the streets. So, and also we should also give more funding to these organizations which are taking care of these homelessness people.
All right. Thank you, sir. Roger?
Thank you so much. I'll keep it quick since we're getting towards the end, but affordable housing is incredibly important. Housing needs to be a right, not a privilege. And the city needs to make sure that they continue moving on that and, are bold in their approach. So making sure that you build housing, but you also have the community supports in place, working with nonprofits and also working with the provincial government and having those priorities very clearly laid out for them so that they know here are the top 3 things that Edmonton needs. And one of them is absolutely affordable housing.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nikki.
So T, as mentioned, it is very important to have a relationship with the provincial government. This is why I put my name in, because I have a relationship with the provincial government, and the city has to work with the provincial government together to tackle this homelessness. And plus, talking about addiction and mental health, the province has already invested a lot of money into mental health and addiction beds, so that will help ease the problem.
Okay, so the province is doing something. Thank
Yes.
you for telling us that. The final question from my side is on climate and environment. We're going to start with Roger. How will you address environmental concerns such as walkable neighborhoods, green spaces, and sustainable development in Nakota Isga? You got 30 seconds, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll go through it quickly once again. So I think one of the greatest prides of our city is having that green strip, that river valley. So making sure that we are protecting that area, making sure that we have mature tree protections for infill developments that are coming to neighborhoods, making sure that we're maintaining green spaces is going to be incredibly important, and also looking into things like community-oriented solutions like community gardens, making sure that people have access to fresh food, that they're not just in food deserts, and truly just making sure that we are being bold on climate action and setting a good example, because we want to protect our river valley and the environment.
All right, thank you very much, Nikki.
So T, we need to look at our city to make it walkable all around. There's over 800,000 seniors already in Alberta. So we need to make sure that they have access all year round, and make sure that the gardens or the green spaces are trimmed. Right now, they say this is naturalization. A lot of kids can't even kick the soccer ball on the fields because the weeds are too high. So we need to make changes to that. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautifully done, Joseph.
In the new neighborhoods, especially the ones we are building nowadays, we should make sure we leave some small parks and green spaces for the people around, so that kids can have somewhere to play. the elderly can also have somewhere to walk and spend some quality time there. So, and also in those, yeah, so we should have more green spaces, and also some smaller parks should be left in the new neighborhoods we are building right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Reed.
Yeah, ensuring community and city services are within reach are key, and this goes into your question on environmental. Keeping parks whole, protecting historic trees in our neighborhoods, and these fields and everything that we use. Our communities are so vibrant; they have so many things. I mean, we have to maintain even something like soccer fields. There's so many we can't even use because they're not up to standards. So actually making sure that those are where they need to be, and make sure they have a fresh net is everything that I'm about, and ensuring their communities have all the services and the green space they need, because we're lucky to have it in the city. So we got to protect it.
All right, fair enough. I promise that we'll do some more public questions. I know we have 5 minutes, but you guys are the best in the world. You can cap whatever you want to say to 25 seconds now. Now, here's the question. The city of Edmonton does not spend money on ads in independent media. It's from Greg. They instead demand free coverage while spending in the USA-owned media. What is your position on mandatory spending in local media? Joseph, let's have you go first.
Okay, can you repeat the question clearly?
What commitments are you making right now to make sure that alternative community-based media like LCC, like myself, stay in business? What sort of commitments can you make to us publicly?
Oh, this media like yours, they should have funding. The city should be able to fund this kind of media, so that we don't listen or hear only one voices. We should hear many voices, especially voices from the community like yours. We need this kind of voices.
If you win, I'm coming for you, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
All right, Reed.
Yeah, it's key and it's imperative. I mean, we talked about earlier, like the message is not getting through to the residents, of this ward in the city of what needs to be done. So we got to look at different ways, and you got to diversify how you get that message across on different platforms, whether it's social media or traditional media. But they need to be supported, and they need to be more than supported. They need to be encouraged.
All right. Thank you. Don't change your mobile now, Reed. I'm hearing what you're saying. If you get the job, I'll be calling you.
Yeah, you got my number.
Calling you. All right, Roger.
Yeah, so I think having independent media is incredibly important. That's something that the city needs to make sure that they're investing in as well, and making sure that they're uplifting that. Truly, I think right now people don't really have a centralized way to get their news. I think that's one of the biggest things that I have been hearing from people, is that it's incredibly difficult to get engaged now. So, if that is through independent media that is doing the work like you guys are doing, and making sure that people can have access to forums like this.
I kind of feel you wanted me to hear that. Sounds like music to my ears. You're really gonna support independent media. Nice, Nikki.
Well, there's no secret that I am for independent media. The mainstream media is not picking up the news properly. Sometimes, the importance of independent media is that they have a base, and these people that follow them, just like LCC. So we need to fund independent media. That's very important, so we can get the proper messaging out.
Okay, so I know where to find you, Nikki. You get the job. I'll be counting on your commitments, the commitments you made tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. We are, a minute to 9 o'clock. You will forgive me because we're going to go past the hour, all right? So tell your spouses you're going to be with T like 5 or 6 more minutes. Because I'm going to ask you a question now, which is the final question. And you're going to include that question with your closing remarks, and you'd only have 30 seconds to get this done, or maybe even 25. I know Joseph can do it in 20. So the earlier you wrap up with this question and your closing remarks, the earlier you get to your spouses and have your body massage or your I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what people do these days in Edmonton or in Nakota Isga. All right, so here's your final question. Small businesses in West Edmonton continue to feel the impact of inflation and shifting shopping patterns. What policies would you push for to help local entrepreneurs and revitalize business corridors like Stony Plain Road? I'm going to go with Roger. She liked the question. You got less than 30 seconds to answer that and close.
Yeah, I love that question, T. And I love it because I am really close to Stony Plain Road. And also as a local business owner, I know the challenges that they're going through right now, especially with the major construction because of the LRT. We've asked small businesses to hold on during this difficult time. And so, a couple of the things that I would propose is freezing their property taxes because of the major construction that they're seeing. I think that's something that they haven't seen in the last bit. And also a vibrancy fund for Stony Plain Road so that we can attract more business to the area and make sure that business is able to expand. And also we have development within the area. So that is a section in Ward Nakota Isga that needs major transformation so that we can actually have commercial and residential there. And so this campaign is really about connecting people with solutions that work for our city, whether that's small businesses, seniors, families, young people. And I bring 5 years of experience from City Hall and from being, a Ward Nakota Isga resident myself. And I want to make sure that Ward Nakota Isga has a pragmatic, thoughtful, compassionate, and people-centered voice.
All right. Thank you very much, Roger. Grateful for your thoughts. Nikki.
Well, T, as you know, a lot of people don't know. When I was an immigrant, I started at Stony Plain Road, 153rd Street. And that area I'm very familiar with. We need to really get investments into that area, support them with incentives, and build a commercial on the base, second floor office, and third and fourth. We can go up to third and fourth and provide living space so we can densify. That's along the LRT line. The objective of densification is to be accessible so that people can have access to our transit system where public transit is. So that's one way that I'm gonna be looking at and study how we can improve the businesses in the area so they have a base of people who are living there would patronize their business as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Nikki. Reed.
I love you brought up the example of Stony Plain Road because even the Clark's logo on my shirt is my grandfather had a grocery store that was Clark's on Stony Plain Road back in the day. So it really touches home. But that area, I remember it was growing up and it was vibrant, it was fun, it was unique, it's different. We need to bring that back to that area and we need to support those businesses. We've asked them to go through a lot with all the construction that's been happening. So there's different ways where we can help out, whether it's incentives, taxes, whatever it is. I want to be creative on the ways that we can do it and listen to them to say exactly the best way to support. So that's how I want to tackle that thing. Kind of, I guess, to close it out, I mean, really what I want to make clear is, and I still got time, right? Still got time?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
But you finish your sentence. That's okay. Finish.
Oh, no, I just want to say, about me in the closing is, I think the ward doesn't need another career politician. It needs a neighbor who wants to connect, build, and get things done. And, I want to reset relationships. I want to make sure every dollar is spent responsibly and make sure we spend smarter. And together we can make Edmonton a city where we can thrive, communities are proud of, our future's bright, and bring back the city of champions for everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. I think Joseph has the last word tonight.
Yeah. So as someone with a business and who knows also how to run a business, and also as someone who has a master's in business and leadership, I can solve most of the business problems. I'm running for city councillor in the great ward of Nakota Isga because your struggles are my struggles. And I believe in a city where cost of living is manageable, property taxes are fair, newcomers and long-time residents alike have access to real career opportunities, and infrastructure is developed responsibly and on time, not years behind schedule. And new infill development is backed up with effective community engagement. So today, I'm presenting myself to you to be your next councillor for Ward Nakota Isga. Thank you.
All right, that was so well said. We cannot exhaust the depth of the questions we have here, but as time has permitted us, we've come to the very end of tonight's forum. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. And to our audience at home, just stay 30 more seconds. We'll wrap this up soon. My name is Tia DMO, and the platform I represent is Ladies Corner, www.ladiescorner.ca. We're an alternative independent media. It's me shamelessly plugging what we do. You do well to like and subscribe us. You're watching on YouTube at LCC Media 1. You do well to subscribe to the website as well, ladiescorner.ca. I have shared our email. Should you feel inspired to help us cover some of the costs, we have some of our costs this week. What Odemin is tomorrow at 5 p.m. You do well to tune in. And the final thing I'd like to say to everyone is, may the odds ever be in your favor, and may the best candidate win. I wish you all the best, and I hope to invite you to my other programs as we go along. And I just want to say thank you again for honoring my invitation and showing up tonight. Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.